Hello, it's good to link up with you again with the Leader of Africa talk show. I ended up our last segment by throwing a challenge to us to be able to ponder over. These were classes of leaders that characterize the African socio-political leadership terrain. Leadership is about influencing people to move in a God-given direction. Let me reiterate that Africa is not in shortage of leaders. My point is that it's the good leaders and the conscientious leaders that we lack. For instance, we have charismatic leaders who basically lack character. And as Warren Bennis says, and I quote, managers are those who do things right, while leaders are those who do the right things. Now, this bears heavily on the character of a person. Do we have leaders with good character or with character? Gifted leaders we have, but they lack conviction. They lack conscience. They can do anything, they can say anything anytime without a conviction differentiating between wrong and right. We have a lot of powerful leaders in Kenya, very influential people, but they lack principles. They can say what they want today, tomorrow they refute, they didn't say it. They say they were misquoted, when actually if you play back to them what they said yesterday, they still say that you misquoted me or you misunderstood me. We have intellectuals in numbers in this country and in Africa as a continent who lack morals, simple, good manners. We have visionary leaders who can tell you what's going to happen in another 30 years in this country, but they lack values. They lack integrity, they lack honesty, they lack simple values that even children do have. We have spiritual leaders in this nation who lack conscience. They can say anything, they can talk about anything without repenting, without looking back and saying, I'm sorry, I should not have said what I said. And so Africa as a continent have all manner of leaders, but it is the good and the conscientious leaders that we lack. To begin our segment today, let us consider perhaps one of the greatest leadership models that has ever been brought to us and is portrayed in the Bible, and I would like to talk about it today. Here, Jesus, the Messiah, enrolls his students to his class of 12 men. And he uses different ways of recruiting them, primarily because their backgrounds were varied. Because for some, such as Matthew, he simply approached them with a command saying, come, follow me. And they left whatever they were doing and they followed him. For some, like Simon Peter, they were brought to him by their brothers or their friends who had met Jesus earlier on. To Nathanael, for example, he was brought to him by his friend Philip. And Nathanael was reluctant to follow Jesus because he asked, where does he come from? This is a typical African inquiry. Where do you come from? Which tribe do you belong to? Which group do you belong to? So that based on that knowledge, then we can make judgment. But I thank God that Jesus answered him and told him, Nathanael, before Philip met you, I already saw you. You are sitting under a tree. So Nathanael was amazed at this man, that how could he know me before I saw him, yet I'm meeting for the first time. So that fact and that revelation alone made Nathanael be able to follow Jesus. Now, Jesus was able to apply his curriculum to fit their various social strata, ranging from what they were: unlearned fishermen, revenue collectors, physicians. And he simply spoke to them and made a statement which was very simple indeed. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. This model, to me, is very pragmatic for these reasons. One, that it was not elitist in nature, for then it would have defeated his very eternal purpose. Secondly, his path was that of transforming lives and livelihoods of the ordinary people. Remember, he could have chosen learned and schooled and polished and accomplished great men in the land to fill his class, but he did not. Finally, he did make them, and these amazing men impacted the then known world with the message of their master. Let me say this, that in the modern language in development, it might be said that Jesus' model was a bottoms-up approach. This approach has never been popular with the elite, simply because it seeks to devolve power to the ordinary people as opposed to accumulating power at the top. There must be a paradigm shift. I have observed over time that many leadership institutes in Africa and elsewhere in the world focus their energies on training elite youth by providing prestigious and highly competitive scholarships, eventually providing them with skills that, if truly applied, would have transformed African geopolitical and economic terrain with far-reaching impact by now. But this is not the case, as evidenced by the escalating corruption cases that we hear every day reported, and the obvious discontent among the citizens of this continent. We must therefore affect a paradigm shift towards a value-based leadership. It is about taking leadership to the marketplace. That's my idea. It's about transferring leadership training and empowerment to the bottom of the pyramid and let it work its way towards the top. Now, while on this topic, I wish to propose that you ponder briefly on the following. That if it were possible, the national planning strategies may strategize on, one, developing a leadership curriculum for the lower and the upper primary schools that will be taught to the children at that young age. To develop leadership training and empowerment for all MCAs in the counties in the case of Kenya. To carry out leadership training for all grassroots opinion shapers, as we call them, or change agents, including clergy and other religious leaders. These are my thoughts. The list could be made longer. I've come to realize that Africa is already blessed with a stream of unsung heroes and heroines, most of whom have been devoting their lives, influencing transformation among communities at the village levels. We can name some. There's Nkosi Kushinda Moto, a local chief working to save children from early marriages in Malawi. We have Mary Claire Nabila, striving to provide pads to thousands of girls in northwest Cameroon. We have Domtila, working hard to save several girls from the outlawed FGM among her communities in Kenya. Time would fail me to mention Tegla Rolupe, we all know her. She won a marathon medal for Kenya, but is currently involved in creating peace among the Pokot and their neighboring communities through sport. I cannot leave out Peter Tabichi, the hero that we celebrated a few months back for winning the Global Best Teacher Award. He's a physics teacher in Omolo, but he has transformed the lives of the young people and the students that he teaches and the community around the school. These are our unsung heroes. These are people who are making change at the grassroots. We can do better than that. The time has come to inculcate values in our young generation. The men and the women in the marketplace, the single-headed householders, fishmongers, vegetable hawkers, the village elder on the virtues of character and morality, of integrity, patriotism, so that we can indeed achieve and enjoy the taste of leadership brewed in an African pot. Thank you.